Looking ahead in this year, we're facing a general election. What fun that'll be. The politicians are already setting out their stalls. Mr Cameron, Mr Clegg, Mr Brown are all trying their very best to get us to believe that they can deal with the problems that we have as a country, they can resolve the financial difficulties, they can deal with the health service problems, they can deal with unemployment and inflation. Hey, we've all got the answers. The big question, though, isn't being answered. The big question that we need to ask as a population is, how do we get back to trusting our politicians? They all come out with these wonderful ideas every 4 years, and we all really, I think, have a pretty strong sense that none of them are going to work very well. They'll bludge about, they'll make lots of changes because they'll take new initiatives, and by and large things will carry on much the same. The thing that really bothers me about carrying on much the same is that politicians themselves, in their own lives and in their own working lives, will probably carry on much the same as well. After last year's shocks and surprises when we discovered that politicians were stitching up the people who employed them, that's us, I thought we might have actually got somewhere a little better with our relationship with these people. But I don't think we have. I think we're just setting ourselves up to once again be stitched up by politicians for another 4-year period. What I'd like to see is a government come into effect, or a political party come into effect, who actually have determined to tell the public the truth. We've grown up a lot over the last 20 or 30 years. People are much more aware of politics, people are much more aware of the world around them. But the politicians still want to treat ordinary people in the street as if we know nothing and don't really care. Let's get our politicians to actually start looking at themselves and the way that we're governed. Let's start looking at something like proportional representation, where votes actually count to put people in Parliament who most people voted for. Bit of an issue, that one, isn't it? Because if you look at general elections, decreasing numbers of people vote in them. So how do we know we're getting an actual sense of what the country wants? Back in 1950, around 85% of the population turned out to vote. In the 2005 general election, it was only just above 60%. That's a drop of nearly 25% in, well, 55 years. If that goes on, no one much will be voting, and the people who bother to turn out will actually get to elect the government that they want. Time for proportional representation, politicians. Time to put your own house in order before you even make the vaguest proposal of how to put our country in order.